Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but lines keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I just got the joy of the rare Friday Stugotz waddle swagger into the room because
it's been a while.
He's popular with young people today because of what he and Chris Cody did on Bob Does Sports. What can we tell people about everything that happened there without spoiling anything? All of this content just came out. Was it yesterday or was it today?
It came out yesterday. It's Stugotz in all his Stugotz glory. Bob Does Sports is a fun group of guys that do golf for a living, and Stugotz seems to want to steal it. A spoiler alert there.
I do want to steal it. I want to do their show. I want to do it with you, Chris. But it was interesting for me because Chris was really on me to do this. Like, he stayed on it. He did a great job. He got it done. I had no idea that this show existed. I had no idea what it was. We shot the show. We had a great time. The episode came out yesterday. My daughters, nearly 20 years of doing this show, they have never texted me a single thing about this show except the one time I played tennis against a tall guy with a cigarette in my mouth. That is it. Yesterday, I got so many texts from my daughters. Oh, my God, Dad, you were on Bob Does Sports? The boys are so impressed. I'm like, I had no idea that people were consuming stuff like this.
Stugotz, I don't think you know any of what's going on YouTube.
I don't.
Not with our show, not with any show.
Right.
I believe that there's an entire universe of things that you don't know. There are many. Put it on the poll, please, Juju.
An entire universe.
At LeBatard Show, are there entire universes of things Stugotz doesn't know about?
I'm voting yes on that.
Chris, what can you tell me about the drama of the competition? What can you tell me without spoiling anything about the highlights of what you guys made with them?
I don't want to spoil it, but I will say that Stugotz contributes. You know, Stugotz is, as much as he golfs, you'd think he was better.
I'm terrible.
So, you know.
Well, this is the first I'm learning you're terrible. You're always telling us how good you are.
No, but here's the problem. My course has been shut down for nearly a year, so I haven't been able to play nearly as much as I used to play, and therefore I am not very good right now. And I haven't been good in a while.
And it's all relative. Stugotz he plays enough that he is better than a hack that never plays, but for someone who plays as much as Stugotz does, he is terrible.
Right.
But he's fine.
Yeah.
And so basically we had Leroy Hoare because of how Stugotz might be the worst golfer ever on this channel, by the way. That's like how I don't want to be insulting to you, but that's these guys are pretty good at golf. So that's why we brought Leroy Hoare out, and Leroy Hoare he was entertaining and a good golfer.
Stugotz is great so long as there are no hills and everything is flat, so you can hit it and it can just roll for quite a while.
Yes, I don't get a lot of air on my ball, and you're right about Leroy. My daughter texted me, Leroy is lit. I don't even know what that means.
Mike Ryan, can you play a snippet of this so that we can just watch something and see what happened without spoiling anything?
How are we feeling for today?
Oh, we're feeling good, man. We are. I got 2 sets of clubs. I have these, which are my clubs, and then I rented a set of clubs. Meadowlark, you'll be getting the bill for that. Because I want to try these new clubs out. I'm not terribly confident in the clubs that I have. I'm not terribly confident in my game, is what I'm trying to tell you. I suck at golf.
Stugotz, ladies and gentlemen.
A little high, though. A little high. The ball.
Haven't found my groove yet. Both views my shot. Off the tee, both first holes.
Chris is doing this thing where he hits a drive left, scatters it right, and just because he hits it far, Leroy's smack in the middle of the fairway. Chris just drives to his ball and assumes we're all going to play it, and he's doing that so he could just say they used 2 of my drives. It's total bullshit.
Sit right at it.
She's straight.
And I still
It might
heckling me over the.
Chris thinks we're playing at like the RBC Heritage. I need to get the locker room back. I'm in a sheet like you're like Harbaugh.
Oh, you dumb.
Really, what I think Bob wants to do is get rid of one of these 2 guys and hire me. It's fine. I understand why he wants to. I mean, my golf is it's that good. But I'm a lot more entertaining than you are. So, you know. I said yes, LeBatard.
Under. I know. 32 seconds from the time Stu takes the tee box. You want the over? You want the under? I'm going over. Start the clock. Start the clock. Oh, big shots, Stu. Right here, right now.
This is not great audio for our show. Stugotz just
the clock ticking.
standing over a ball.
Get up there.
30 seconds is what it ended up being.
Good ball, Stugotz. Is that Leroy up there?
Yeah, Leroy's up there.
I think it was under, though.
How did they just do? Catch the under.
Good 9 stretch.
We'll hit mine now. Just drive straight to it like Chris.
Oh, oh my God, am I just ripping these trees, man?
Was Greg Cody busy today?
No.
You didn't hit it left.
Invitation got lost in the mail.
Stugotz, ladies.
You are going to put that
He likes the prime time. He likes the pressure.
No, I don't.
I hate it, Bob. What just happened? I never.
Jesus Christ, Leroy.
I want to apologize to the podcast audience for so much of the silence that's in this video.
Let's go!
Wow. Stugotz with a long putt.
Stu.
Yo.
Like 12 feet.
Come on.
90,000.
Come on, Stu.
Let's go. Yeah.
I can't jump.
They're going to say this was the Leroy show, but Stugotz made a putt. And those 2 drives, remember we talked about them?
They set the tone.
They set the tone. Tone setter. This is my moment.
What's this for? This is for the win. This is for the win.
Sure is.
I feel like Tiger Woods. I feel like Tiger Woods.
Clap it up, boys. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Spoiler alert.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome. And my guys,
Yes.
Stu.
That'd be great,
My
man.
guys, Stu. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Appreciate you guys. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Leroy, you
All right, brother.
For the video audience, that was spoiled.
Oh,
Yeah.
played.
Thank you,
Huge
buddy.
putt.
Yeah, but the
Leroy Horde show.
What makes it worse is I'm the oldest guy here.
Man, can he play?
Who said huge
That
putt?
man, Leroy.
Who said that?
Big one there. That's been another edition. Big thanks to these guys. Big thanks to DraftKings. Bob Does Sports. We'll see you next time.
golf talk. The audience on podcast still doesn't know what happened. It's not spoiled for anyone who doesn't have the video. So I will not tell you what just happened there. It seemed fairly dramatic. And my takeaway from that entire video is that under his breath, with a little bit of melancholy in his voice, Stugotz, while watching himself, said, "This bending thing is hard."
It is.
The bending down thing.
Can't bend like I used to, Dano.
To pick up the ball. There was a lot of, I feel like we did this better when we did it with Greg Cody in terms of what it feels like to play golf.
Oh, fuck me.
I like, it could have been a lot quicker. Like, let's go. Bob Does Sports. Do it better. You can do it more efficiently. We gave you Cody Prodigy and Progeny back there. We gave you another Cody, the less talented one, and he gave you in 4 minutes, not the excellence that his dad gave you in 2 seconds.
Oh, fuck me.
That's all golf is, by the way.
Yes.
Swing and then bleep me.
Yep, and then swing your drink. I mean, if you're Greg Cody.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, please. Is golf only swinging and then saying, oh, bleep me? That football game last night, we don't normally come in on Fridays, but a game with no punts. We came running in.
What?
A game with no punts. Yes, you did God Bless Football already. Did you not know that game had no punts?
I mean, we talked about the game. It was a fun game. It was an entertaining game. I did not realize there were no punts. I did not realize that. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize, and I'm sorry to Geno Smith, because some of the throws he made in that game, I never thought that man was going to be any of this. I know he did it all of last season, but that throw to DK Metcalf, where they ended Deron Bland's Defensive Player of the Year chances, even though that guy had him covered, was holding him. That's a guy with 5 pick sixes this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt bad for him last night because DK Metcalf was covered on that 75-yard pass. And the thing that I realized that I did not know, I have been questioning the idea that DK Metcalf is as fast as Tyreek Hill since DK Metcalf said he's as fast as Tyreek Hill. I'm like, that's ridiculous. You cannot be as fast as Tyreek Hill. But his speed on that 75-yard run, Stugotz, was the fastest time miles per hour that anyone in the sport has had this year. He was more than 22 miles per hour. I just did not know that a guy who's eating Skittles and coffee, that's what, candy and coffee every day. I did not know that size could remain that fast after 5 years in the league.
6 catches, 134 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's going to catch up to him at some point, though. I don't care who you are, right? The Skittles and the coffee, it is. Like, you can do it now. You're young.
Meant the football.
Well, on the football, too. But you're young. You can do it now. Try that when you're 40 and see how it goes. I mean,
okay, but Jerry Rice was successful in his 40s and didn't, most receivers don't get to 40 being excellent. That body type, I don't expect to be that fast for as long as it's been that fast.
It's crazy.
For that to be the fastest guy in the league, he takes a beating, no matter his size. But he has presently the coolest celebration anywhere in sports, where he talks trash with sign language so he doesn't get fined.
It is by far the coolest thing of any of the celebrations we've seen. I know we saw the Tyreek Hill backflip video. That's cool. But when you're going and scoring touchdowns like that one and then standing on business, or after one of his most recent games, signing number 44, my son, because he beat a DB who was wearing number 44. It's unbelievable. And it's like, it's taking trash talk to a whole other level than we've ever seen it before.
I mean, he can't be mean, right? You still got to be nice.
No, he doesn't.
I don't like this.
I believe he said Cowboys suck.
As he wants.
Yes,
he
so
said
you
Cowboys
can
sucks after one.
He could just start cursing at people in sign language. This is
well,
wrong.
I mean, the middle finger's pretty obvious.
What kind of people are you?
Well, who's going to find him? I mean, what do you mean?
Yes, he has signed, among other things, number 44 is my son, but we have him talking about it here on Rich Eisen's show.
I take ASL now on my off days.
What's that?
American Sign Language.
Okay. What caused you to do that?
I mean, I kept getting flags for my mouthing, so gotta sign my shit talking now.
Come on, is that why? Really?
Yes, sir. That's what I got to do, man, to keep myself busy.
But okay. What happens if you get an official that knows what ASL is and you?
I'll just be talking to him on the side. We'll have our own dialogue.
Oh my gosh!
So we can celebrate this. This is offensive to me.
It is?
It's a loophole. I mean,
how is it offensive to you?
Because it's just like, we're okay with this. This is insulting. I think we should ask hearing impaired people, because I don't think they'd be okay with this.
Wait, weren't you the guy that wanted more David Pollock on game day yesterday?
That was a poorly timed take by me.
Who would have known that? Like,
I was going for just funny, like, who's longing for Pollock? And then right after that, he does the most. I was like, someone texted me that. I'm like, someone's trolling me. This can't be real. It looked like a fake picture, that thing holding up. I was like, this can't be real.
You thought it was AI that David
I thought someone was messing with me in particular just because of what I said on the show.
You thought that after missing David Pollock on game day.
They're a Pollock away, was the joke.
A note that he kept hitting.
That David Pollock would then trend as retweeting and holding up a sign that reads that we shouldn't be allowed to use the transfer portal to have men play women's sports.
Who he tagged in that tweet was just so sad.
Oh my God!
The sign
it was
should have just said,
hilarious.
"Give me a job, please."
What a truly,
Need
truly small man to use that platform for that level of ignorance, and then tag Clay Travis and Ted Cruz and just a whole host of
Rogan,
other names. I mean, it was
wokeness.
1 hour
was
after
so
I said
pathetic.
they're a Pollock away. Like the time,
You're on
it
the
might be
record.
the worst timing in
You're a
terms of a
Pollock guy.
take aging poorly in this show's history.
Let's go back to what you were just saying for a second, though, because you saying I'm offended and saying it's offensive to the hearing impaired, I'm not sure how it's offensive to the hearing
I
impaired.
mean, you tell
It's
rich eyes it's a chuckle fest there. They're like, oh, sign language.
it's-
That's so clever
but
because they don't know it.
I mean, in Chris's defense, he's saying it. He found the loophole, but he's still saying the things that he's saying, you know?
That is correct, and that's why it's funny. Wait a minute. You're going to argue against a loophole.
Well, I love a good loophole.
I mean, how can
I
you?
do.
How can you?
The guy that put Leroy Horde on Team LeBatard.
He crushed it. I mean,
Here's the thing. It's the only thing that the hearing impaired actually saw and actually understood from the game was the American Sign Language. So that's for them.
What a great thing for them to take away from that game. Although I imagine they're also listening to the broadcast or watching the broadcast through the captions.
I want to ask Chris if DK had learned Spanish or French and was trash talking in that language, would you be offended on behalf of that group of
If he
people?
was doing it sarcastically, if you're learning,
Is that sarcastic?
This doesn't. It's just
He's taking the time to learn sign language. It's though. awesome. That takes time.
If he just knew sign language and this was part, like,
but you don't just know sign
he
language.
learned sign language just to troll people on the field.
No, he took sign language in college as an elective or something, and then now he's using it and perfecting it to say Cowboys suck, 44 is my son, you guys suck.
Chris, this is like Taco Bell. Just doesn't sit white with me.
White?
Right.
White.
Well, I was gonna say well.
You're not,
Sorry, it's
I
Friday.
feel like you might be a little scattered because rare is when the whole room turns on you like this, and you're entering these waters that you don't normally enter of being offended by
Sit
something.
white with me, huh?
it's why I'm trying to defend him because I know that feeling
Let's
when the
hear
whole
him
room
out.
turns
Join David
on
Pollock.
you.
All right, you know what? Angel, make the T-shirts. I've got an announcement to make. I want in the next 90 minutes, I want T-shirts that say, sit white with me.
See, even when I'm bad, I'm good.
We have the merch store. The merch store is reopened just in time for the holidays. It's a big announcement. David Sampson has got the merch store up and running, Stugotz. LeBatardAF.com. I will give you more information as soon as I go into the back room and tell video to put up all the graphics because I forgot to get prepared for the fact that we're opening the merch store today. But I do have to do that, and I need your help and the reminders. Oh, look at that. Video is ready.
Wow.
The merch store is revamped. There are discounts there. There are discounts there for people who had problems with the previous merch store if you subscribe. So LeBatardAF.com is where you end up going.
Oh, this throw blanket looks incredible.
But Angel, you need to in 90 minutes. We're going to have the ability to make T-shirts very quickly now, I am told. We will see how successful that is. What is the idea behind Stay White With Me? I think we should send one to David Pollock. We should send one to Shitstain.
I think we should have like a board review this one.
This doesn't sit white with me. It was what I said.
Even better the second time.
Tony loves it.
That's right. Some form of that we need to put up on a T-shirt. We need to figure out how to do that.
Do we have the Touche Taché T-shirt yet, or
We're
Sorry.
working on it. We are working on a variety of things. We just got the merch store running. In
Tony
time.
just yelled "Shut up"?
Yes,
But he did it in sign language. Everyone's fine with it.
Yes, everything. It seems like everyone is fine with sign language.
For now, check back in a couple years.
Chris.
Yep, something feels off. I'm with Chris. I mean, put it to good use.
I'm
not
getting
the
out ahead of
trash
this.
talk, you know?
I look at what is happening there, Chris, and when you say that, I think to myself in general, right? If most people in most workplaces, if fellow employees trash talked them the way athletes trash talk each other, they would go home weeping and tell their partners and their kids about how awful it is.
We do that here every day. And by
I
the
called
way,
Jeremy a magician the other day.
yeah, and my grandparents used to speak in Spanish behind my back all the time because I didn't understand.
We do
them.
that here too.
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I just responded to you.
Tony, you cannot be looking me in the face and thinking that the trash talk around here is the same that it would be on an NFL field between people who are competing who don't like each other.
It's equivalent.
Nice. You haven't seen Billy after a bad segment we have.
Well.
That's just Billy being Billy, though, right? I mean,
I have thought to myself, it is, I mean, trash talk is unsportsmanlike. It is mean and offensive. I don't have it anywhere in me, right? But it's also why I'm not good at sports. There's one of the reasons I'm not competitive that way. It's like, you want it that bad?
Yeah,
okay.
That's why, Tubby.
Mm-hmm. What are the other reasons?
So in pickup basketball, you just be like, good shot to the other team.
Just pretty quiet.
Loose balls on the floor, you let somebody else get it.
It was out on me, coach.
What are they, Stugotz? You're very pleased with yourself over there. What are all the other reasons that I'm not good at sports? We just saw you have trouble bending down. How are you in a position like I would be happy? In fact,
I hit the big putt, Dano.
Producers, can we have a sports off or physical off with Stugotz? I'm ready to do it. I'm 54 and he's 50.
This a little trash talk?
Let's have an athletic competition with Stugotz and see who does better at physical fitness things.
Start with golf or
we could throw it in there. 10
basketball,
events.
one-on-one.
10
I will listen. I will take you to the woodshed if we go one-on-one.
You each pick 5 events.
Yeah.
How about that? Stu picks 5 that he
It's a
thinks
lot
he's
of
good
events.
at. Mark 3.
It's a decathlon.
Right.
10 events.
They each
is a
pick
lot.
3 events. You're right. They're old.
You got us.
And maybe not one-on-one. Maybe we just do foul shots or something.
No, you don't negotiate your way out of. You're not allowed to make fun of me athletically in the shape that you're presently in.
Dan's going to back Stugotz down the way Tony would back down John Amici.
I know that all of these guys aren't enemies on the field when they talk, but there is uncommon honesty on an NFL football field. And I was amused by seeing Jabril Peppers go up to Saquon Barkley. They are friends after the game. After the Giants beat the Patriots 10-7 because Mac Jones ended his career with a terrible interception. And here's Jabril Peppers coming up to Saquon Barkley after the game, a friend.
The Giants defeat the Patriots 10-7.
Lucky we had.
You're lucky we're ass. You could put that tombstone on the Patriots season, right? You could put it actually, you know what?
You could put it on a T-shirt.
You can. You could also just remove the name AFC East and just put that on the top of the division of the Patriots looking at everybody that they've beaten for 20 years and saying, you're lucky we're ass.
Ass is the best critique. It's my new favorite. Remember the guy put ass, what was it, the park? Yeah. I love ass. It's just so simple.
Craig Counsell got smeared.
He looked at me and like gave me one of these and I was like, I don't know.
You guys all knew what I was talking
Friday,
about.
Chris. Look, man, Thursday, Chris.
Oh, who didn't know what I was talking about? Oh, that's right. You all did.
Well, but the audience may not have, and they knew. We've got more people listening than just in here. By the way,
he said, "I love ass." I mean,
speaking of more people listening than that we have here today, I'm with Mike Ryan now after getting so many tweets and texts from our listeners who are really proud, Stugotz, of how much they listen. Every year at this time, it buoys me, no matter what it is that we're going through, that our listeners like to brag about how many minutes they listen to our show in a year. And I'm getting a lot of this from Rob Walden and others. Last year, Le Batard Show was my #1 pod on Spotify with 39,000 minutes. My listening habits haven't really changed this year, and a different pod was my #1 with about 9,000 minutes. So something is definitely off. Mike Ryan has accused Spotify of jerry-rigging the numbers, and some of the people who work at Spotify have claimed that we, the entity that bills more by a lot than any sports podcast, that we are fooling our sponsors by tricking them with the way that we count our numbers. But our listeners are legion, and they are loyal, and they're all telling us, hey, I can't brag about it this year, and my habits didn't change any.
It certainly can't be because we're way worse. Right?
Your head looks like it's going to explode.
Does it hurt? Does the helmet hurt?
It's tight.
I can't even tell my mic's on.
I was like, is he workshopping this?
Wait a minute. He
It's right in the temples,
He's
too.
talked a lot less today. Maybe we have to get him
No, this helmet's coming off. It's
We
the
have
lamest
to-
bet.
cheeks are so red.
Permanent helmets.
I'm done.
We have to get Mike
I'm done, Taylor.
a
I
permanent
quit.
helmet.
No mas.
Stugotz, this has been a big week for us. The last few years have been hard. Everyone in this country having a conversation around the go woke, go broke culture wars. We've been tested in a shaking industry, an industry that is changing. Everyone at ESPN who wasn't asked to take pay cuts was let go. And this week we got to an island that has 97 million people on it. Max is here to support what it is that we're doing, and it's the beginning of what we're doing with Max. And so there were some announcements made on social media during what is an exciting time for us. And this was a turbulent week for me, as most are on social media. But so this was good news. And so I checked in, even though for my mental health, I have been avoiding, to the degree I can, right? Because I've got to stay on top of certain things if we're doing a daily show. I've been avoiding what has become for me a mental health minefield when I already feel really bad about a lot of different things. And so this was good news. And I'm like, well, surely if there are announcements being made and publicly it's saying a version of our show is coming to Max, and here's the Le Batard Show clearly winning 97 million people. Although I am getting some commentary from people like this. Where the hell are they on Max? I resubscribed to Max and have the sports tab, but I can't find them anywhere. I even searched the show and Metal Arc and still nothing. Can someone help me out? Maybe Dan can walk us through how to find the show.
Yeah, Dan, maybe you can walk them through. There's a sports here, the BR section on Max where you can find us. I know there's been some frustration with some fans that video on demand isn't necessarily available just yet. In time, we hope. But the live version, what is it, 11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
Yes,
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
But only 11 a.m. A lot of people want it after it's already run, and that's why they're having trouble finding it.
Well, let's keep performing and gaming some numbers, and maybe we can get some VOD on there.
I would like a producer, and unlike most of what I say around here, I want this followed up on. I would like a producer to film Stugotz trying to find our show.
Okay.
I don't think that
I was going to make the same request for you.
No, I can find it. I have been concerned about how our future looks.
Can we make that part of the decathlon?
Ooh. Is that one of your sports?
That's a good one.
I would love to see him try to find a fast channel by the name of DKN as well.
I could find that one.
Yeah?
I found it, yeah. I have a Samsung TV.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, the Samsung TVs make it easy. Roku also.
Yeah.
We're a lot of places. And also youtube.com/@LeBatard Show, and loads more exclusive LeBatard Show content coming on the YouTube. So please subscribe. In fact, we're going to give you a special edition just for the YouTube audience. The club comes back today, but please reward us for making you happy by subscribing.
Also today, not just the club, Mike Ryan has won a controversial culture war in the building because he is calling Jessica and Lucy's show over their objections. The male boss is calling the show Foot Girls.
I don't like how this is being framed.
I like it.
We're just trying to punch up Foot Girls. And we'll see how the maiden voyage goes today. You'll find out in a little bit their reaction to it. I'm very happy with the results. We can relive that a little bit later in the show.
You could have called it the maiden voyage.
You could.
Yeah.
For the first episode.
I don't understand what's happening.
Maiden?
Like, just this is
Women?
a very good segment. This is a
like
very
Foot
good,
Girls?
We get it.
This is a very good segment.
You
Jess
get it?
and Lucy know their football. Jeremy, please stop. I'm just
Justice for Charlotte Wilder.
Just generally speaking, just stop. Please.
Jeremy and Mike, there's some tension here with Jeremy and Mike because Jeremy has been quiet and respecting authority around here, but Jeremy has objected vigorously to some takes that Mike Ryan has had recently. Mike Ryan's now taking credit for Juan Wick and knowing everything about Juan Wick when Jeremy said he said first that Juan Wick was an excellent player before you did.
What? No.
I texted Mike Ryan 3 weeks ago saying I had a song that I wanted to bring in about Jaime Jaquez Jr. after he hit a game winner when Bam had dominated in a previous incarnation of the Miami Heat. I sit and listen to the show when I'm not here and I feel like I'm being gaslit. Because on the days that I'm here, we don't talk about the Miami Heat after big wins or give anyone an opportunity to actually break down.
Bro, relax. It's the Pacers.
They scored the second most points in franchise history in a regular season game in regulation. Like, it was, no, and it's the Pacers' pace that led them there. But it was an incredible second half. And I come in and, we talk about it in the production meeting, but nobody seems to want to talk about it on the air. And yet, when I'm not here, it's Juan Wick is Rookie of the Year, and look at those Miami
Jeremy,
Heat. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You are an egomaniac.
What?
You are. You want this
Takes
Jaime
one to know
Jaquez
one. I mean-
take. I've been the person saying you can't trade him for Damian Lillard. I was the co-chair of the Real Hoopers Know Society that called him the Rookie of the Year earlier this week.
Fine.
I don't. It's okay. You can like him too, but the fact that you want ownership over this, I mean, you've been around here for 5 minutes, kid.
The kid is just so condescending.
It's great.
It was intended to be so.
And he's right.
Stugotz, we have a Mexican basketball player that people are now talking about, a rookie. They're saying, and I can't believe we got here, right? I understand that we hyperventilate and do prisoner of the moment stuff, but a franchise that historically doesn't do a lot of trusting of young players, you have in Jaime Jaquez somebody they think might be a lead guy. That we're talking about on a team that has Bam and Jimmy, we're talking about, oh, that's what the future looks like. And I did not have that. I mean, Sedano's been talking to me about this kid since he was in college for quite a bit, but I did not have
He
him.
was in college a while.
Yeah, he was.
That's what I thought. When
he's 22.
When you're in college a while, I don't think you're that good.
Like, how good of a prospect can you be? Yeah, no, it breaks a lot of preconceived notions.
Because you didn't leave early? I mean, that's the reason?
It's a tough look these last couple of weeks for old Joe Cronin. As everyone was celebrating the trade and the haul that they got, and no one maybe pointing out that, hey, there's one working knee in this package. And that turned around pretty quickly. Brogdon, I think, has been better than most people, but he was a one working knee in the package, and he's not super efficient. Jaquez, out of all the players that were rumored for the services of Damian Lillard, Jaquez looks like a guy that, if I told you right now, given how Damian Lillard is still good, still a great piece on a championship contender, and he's got plenty of clutch postseason moments for that Milwaukee Bucks team. But if you ask GMs, who would you rather have from this point forward? Damian Lillard at his cap number or Jaime Jaquez at his cap number? I think you'd be shocked at how many people would say going forward, I'd like Jaime Jaquez.
It's so interesting you say that about Joe Cronin, Mike, because I'm pretty sure I was on the show 2 weeks ago saying that.
For the long term, though, Mike, right?
I mean,
this guy.
Jeremy, like, what?
Mike, he wants to be part of Real Hoopers Nation.
That's
what it is.
I get laughed out of here as the homer guy. I'm not actually breaking down the game. I'm the only one watching the game. I'm the only one watching the game.
What are you doing?
I mean,
you are the only one watching the game. I concede that. Doesn't mean you know more ball than me. Come on.
You're repeating everything he said 3 weeks ago.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Whose side are you on?
He's on my side.
He was baptized in my waters. Are you kidding me?
During the break, Chris
this
said,
guy gets all his takes from my subscription platform on Twitter. Hey, come on.
I do pay for that because I support my friends,
Taylor,
unlike Mike.
Taylor, can you come in here and put that helmet back on Mike, please?
I will not. No,
or
that was
Jeremy.
very painful.
I mean,
You know, Jaime Jaquez is shooting 52% from three over his last 6 games. He shot 30% from three in college.
Look, the all squint team also translates into basketball. And if you squint
yeah.
real hard,
No, don't do that.
He looks
Dano?
like a conquistador.
How hard? Show me, Tony.
you know what I'm going to say? If you know what I'm going to say, it's incredible.
Jason Kidd?
No, if you squint real hard,
Squint.
it's a little bit of Luka in there.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
I thought you were
Just
going to
a
say
touch.
Jimmy.
got
I
a
thought you were going to
well-rounded-
say Jimmy
Just a
Butler.
touch of
well-rounded
Luka.
game.
Thank
Yeah,
God. I thought
yeah.
you were going to say something ridiculous.
Just a touch of Luka.
A touch.
Okay,
Squint.
I'm on behalf of the audience.
You got to really squint, though.
On behalf of the audience.
My eyes are wide open.
Oh, wait, I see it.
I see it, too.
Yep,
Yeah.
I do see it.
That doesn't sit
behind
white
the back
with me.
move is like, ooh,
I
wait
see
a second.
Jason Kidd with a better shot.
That doesn't sit white with me either, Jeremy.
Jason Kidd, I agree, totally.
I want
How does that one sit with you? It's always been a mystery with me.
to speak to the audience and speak for the audience about what it is that just happened on our show. Because I don't want to spend the weekend hearing from people. Did you hear them say that Jaime Jaquez is better than Luka?
First he said they'd
No
rather
one
have
said
him
that.
over
No,
Dame.
no,
First,
that-
that's what Mike
this
said.
He
is
said
ex-
long term.
Whoa, wait,
in his
hold on.
defense.
Hold on.
I don't
hold
want
on.
this.
Is there
Tony
that
said
much
this.
pushback on that take? Because
See,
I
I'm
will
the only
walk it back
reasonable
if
one.
it's I will walk
No.
it back if you find that to be an
No,
inflammatory take. I think it makes perfect
It's
sense.
a cheating
Cap
take.
number.
It's a cheating take because you're doing the finances instead of the player.
But I'm also doing projection.
for the next 3 years.
No,
But
he's doing age, long term, all of it, Dan.
I understand what he's doing. What is fair to say is, hey, Cronin, you took a bunch of unhealthy pieces instead of some young ones that the Heat were offering you because you said redundant skill sets is what you had. And I'm just telling you that what we've seen so far, Stugotz, from the Heat this season, small sample size. I love that the Pacers are leading the league in pace. I love that Halliburton is putting up numbers this month, Stugotz, honestly.
He's crazy.
It's only LeBron and Michael Jordan this month have had a month like this.
Yes.
In terms of percentages from 3 and 2 and efficiencies and everything else.
Feel free to play defense once in a while.
Bam is also in the place where his numbers, it's wilt. It's crazy. Now, that part of this is the offensive explosion of the game that distorts the numbers and makes them different now offensively than at other times.
I mean, but prior to last night, where I guess you can credit the Pacers some, the Heat aren't really playing that style of basketball where the offensive explosion, you can't really attribute Bam's numbers to an offensive explosion because the Heat play a different brand of basketball.
Bam's number, just so you know,
Real
though,
hoopers know this.
Real hoopers will tell you that the names that Bam is occupying now, he hasn't been doing this where it's Wilt and Kareem and Larry Bird, statistically for now weeks.
Yeah, he's been sensational offensively, and that's already with being someone who should be the defensive player of the year, and that's been the case for multiple years at this point. But the part that was fun about last night's game and seeing the Heat be able to play with that level of pace, it was in part because in the second half they had to play without Bam, who's been one of the best players in the league, who you imagined in the second half would need to be the guy to slow down Tyrese Halliburton. Instead, they made the adjustment of putting Jimmy on him, which really changed the game and made him have to shoot from deep a lot more than he did in the first half. And Kevin Love was such a huge part of that game. I think he had 7 rebounds and 6 assists, and so much of it was to Jimmy Butler. A lot of them were outlet passes that allowed the Heat to run even more than the Pacers did. So to see them be able to play in both of these different styles and have Jaime Jaquez looking a little bit like their other version of Jimmy Butler in the paint was pretty impressive.
We're obnoxious as a show.
That's why we don't let you talk.
Hate this thing. Jeremy has to pick on behalf of 3 people. Stugotz somehow doesn't have to pick because he's on a bye week. Does everyone else here have to pick from the bucket of death?
I think, didn't you go on Tuesday already? So,
yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's already been established.
Right.
This is the first this is our first Friday show in a very long time in live. We wanted to do something special. So not a lot of people are here. Jeremy's going to pick for 3. Everyone in this back room will pick, and then Dan will pick to close out this segment.
Before you do so, though, Jeremy, I am going to get to the point I was going to make before what broke out was Jaime Jaquez is either Damian Lillard or Luka.
If you squint,
don't forget
and
Jason Kidd.
And whose take is it, Mike?
He's Jimmy Butler. Come on.
I do want to finish the thought I had about us starting at max and how poisonous the reaction was in the comment section. Go ahead, Jeremy. Pick, though, from the bucket of death. Who are you picking for right now?
I am picking for Jess first, then Lucy, then Roy.
All right.
So Jess gets the Colts.
At the Titans, a 1.5 point favorite.
Oh, man.
That's a good pick.
I think that's good. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it.
If the
So
season
Jess
ended
gets the
today.
Colts.
Yeah.
Jess has had real good luck in this game.
She's
Only
lost
one
once
loss,
all year.
and she's drawn some bad teams.
Ooh, Lucy gets the Arizona Cardinals.
At Steelers, 5.5 point underdog.
Going to put that back for her. And she gets the Miami Dolphins.
That's obviously a keeper. Biggest favorite of the week.
By the way, our Miller
welcome,
Lite
Lucy.
watch party is officially a Miami Dolphins watch party. The
Wow,
NFL
nice.
did not flex that. They actually did, against what Joe Buck predicted, they did flex out Mahomes and Kelsey. They flexed the Chiefs out because they're playing the Patriots, who you can only put Bill Belichick up as a graphic for, apparently, nowadays.
Lucky we're us.
They flex that for Eagles, Seahawks. But Titans, Dolphins is officially a go. We'll be at Vivo Miami at the Miller Lite stage, December 11th, open to all ages. Come out and hang out with us.
It's still the Chiefs. I'm surprised they flexed them. I mean, it's crazy.
Roy gets the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5.5 point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals.
The Dolphins, incidentally, on the road at Washington. They are a 9.5 point favorite, but they're on the road against the Commanders, and I'd be scared of that like I'm scared of everything in that bucket.
All right, I got the Texans. At home, 3.5 point favorite against the Broncos. It's an interesting game. I'll keep the Texans.
Yeah.
Big game this weekend. Playoff eliminator.
Who would have
Yeah.
thunk that?
Yeah.
Us.
Texans and Broncos. The NFL, man.
You would have thought that after the Broncos lost to a team that put up 70.
Yeah. I'm
Really?
also picking under
Tony,
protest. I'm
Tony,
picking under
wait a
protest because I
minute.
have the golden helmet of
Tony,
life.
Tony, wait a minute.
It's the
Wait a
rare
minute.
bad win at the time that's a good win now.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
Yes, agreed. But, Tony, you cannot claim that you had the Broncos after allowing 70 as still a good football team.
The bones were there, Dano. It's like looking at a house, right?
Yeah.
You look at the house and you're like, interesting bones there. I think
did
I
quit
can
on
work
the
with
Jags.
that. I didn't quit on the Jags.
quit on 'em.
I was
Terrible
just
timing.
professing my love for C.J. Stroud and them boys.
And you also didn't cheat in getting the golden helmet.
That's
of
also
life.
true. This pick is under protest because Billy swapped with Stu the week that I had the golden helmet of life, so he does not have the golden helmet
What
of life.
team
I
did you
do.
pick?
I have the Panthers. I'm putting them back.
Take it up with the commissioner. I'm sure Billy will rule in your favor. You're such fast friends.
Sucks as a commissioner.
You should have done that in sign language.
Wow, he's helped you cheat, and you're bad mouthing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I got the Browns.
Yes.
I'll keep them.
The Browns are at the Rams. They are a 3.5 point dog.
watch
at
out for the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You have possibly Flacco at quarterback, no Myles Garrett, no
Flacco!
Amari Cooper. Like, it's just a tough draw for
Good
us.
spot.
I mean, the Browns.
The Browns are on their 4th quarterback.
I've got the Tampa Bay Bucks and Baker Mayfield, who should win comeback player of the year pretty
That's a
easily.
keeper.
Yeah.
Panthers. They're playing at home against the Panthers.
Keep it like-
5.5
Yeah.
point favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, DeMar Hamlin is favored to be comeback player of the year. Not a lot of good tape on him this season.
No.
Baker, for me, easy.
Easy. It was going to be Dobbs there for a minute, I feel like. And Aaron
Fell back to
Rodgers.
earth.
Aaron Rodgers would like a word.
You really would,
he's
Dano.
gonna-
They
If he
opened up his
plays-
window.
If he plays, it's got to be Aaron, right?
Let me just tell you. Let me ask you guys a question. Who's been the best player this year? DeMar Hamlin, Aaron Rodgers, or Baker Mayfield?
Oh, wow.
The defense rest.
I mean, but the season's not over for Aaron yet. We don't. He could win comeback player of the year.
Stugotz said the Pastronaut fell back to earth. You get it?
Yes, I saw you point at him, and he pointed at you,
The astronaut.
and you were all very happy with each other.
Love finger guns.
Did he fall off the toilet back to earth, the astronaut? I have the underdog helmet, which I never like.
Well, who likes underdogs?
I'm, you know what? I'll keep the Titans against the Colts. I'll go directly
Really?
against Chris Cody.
You
on
could
that.
go Eagles.
Member of the all-swim team
You
there.
go Eagles at home against the Niners.
Big on Will Levis, huh?
I am scared of the Niners. The Niners look totally overwhelming whenever they're healthy.
You're going against Jess, by the way. She has the Colts.
I'm going to own this take. Niners winning the Super Bowl.
I mean,
Don't like it.
No.
No, it's mine.
You saw how they made
See
Dallas.
Jeremy try to steal it a month from now.
You saw how they made Dallas look. The 49ers when they're healthy, because Dallas's offense looks right now, Stugotz, like it can't be slowed or stopped by many people.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do it in the postseason. I mean, I know Dak's been great the last 7 games, 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but enough.
It's that part of the schedule, like I told you earlier. It's
Yep.
that part of the schedule. He tricks you to think he's a good quarterback.
Yep.
Until he doesn't.
Here we go. It's the greatest thing since Omaha.
People are going to jump to that conclusion with Dak as a turnover person. They are waiting for it, Stugotz. They're waiting for him to cough up a football game. And what I would simply ask you, because I don't think that Dak Prescott has actually gotten much better, but I do believe his skill guys are better than they've been in a minute, and his offensive line is good, and so he's looking like a quarterback who is very relaxed, very poised, not turning the ball over that much, and CeeDee Lamb is arguing he's the best receiver in the league, and he's pretty close, but also I'd always want a Brandon Cooks on my team. I'd always want somebody who stretches the field like that. Jerry Jones has been trying to get that for a while. In fact, been trying to get it for a while, at least in part, because he wasn't going to keep Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb together because CeeDee Lamb was obviously going to be the number 1 receiver. So you need a complement to that. And Pollard is better than
Zeke
than
at
Zeke.
this point. Yeah, pretty easy.
He was the last couple of years too, and they weren't using him as much because they were giving the carries to Zeke.
Yeah, it's still hard to evaluate the Cowboys, though. I mean, the Seahawks, while they were competitive last night in a game that they low-key might have needed badly, they're not playing good teams still. And I don't know if you can lump Seattle, considering how they've looked recently, into that good team bucket yet. And they struggled with that. I will say the one ruling that I'm willing to make is now seeing what Dallas looks like with McCarthy calling plays and seeing the kind of year that the Los Angeles Chargers have had, the wonder kid Kellen Moore stuff has got no more shine to it.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out what the Cowboys are in the next couple of games. They play the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Lions.
No, they went to Philadelphia and lost by 3 points, I think.
That is
I thought Dak had a good game.
Yeah, I thought
Right.
Dak was – that's as impressive a performance on Dak's resume this year.
Yes.
Can you guys get me sound, because I'm tired of the argument that Jeremy and Mike are having on and off air about who had what right. Can we have a video investigation?
Well, who had it first, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to get a video investigation here going to find out who was actually right. But before we do that, Hassan Reddick of the Eagles says of facing San Francisco, quote, "Talk is cheap. They get to come back in the link. It was a lot of boo-hoos last year, a lot of crying, a lot of what if, a lot of this, a lot of that. They get a chance to come back in here, line that shit up, and prove it again."
I love the link. I mean,
let's go.
What are your thoughts about what he is saying there, though? They get to come back in the link. It was a lot of boo-hoos last year, a lot of crying, a lot of what if, a lot of this, a lot of that.
Listen, Philadelphia, for me, they're being disrespected this week. I think they're the best team in football. They're being disrespected this week. They're not favorites at home against San Francisco. And they're right. Like, they got to go to the link, and you got to get it done there. No one's going to trust Dallas or Dak Prescott, Dan, until he does it in a big spot in a big game in the postseason. That's just the way it is.
That's fine, but I'm more interested here when I hear, like, this is so football, and to me, genuinely and generally frustrating. This is the quote. "It was a lot of boo-hoos last year, a lot of crying, a lot of what if, a lot of this, a lot of that. The San Francisco 49ers in a playoff game didn't have a quarterback." That's not boo-hoos, what ifs, like crying. They didn't have a quarterback. McCaffrey was playing quarterback. That's not a lot of boo-hoo. What if it's like, we didn't have a quarterback? If we'd had a quarterback, we might look like we look when Brock Purdy, who might also not be a quarterback, just one healthy quarterback that we could put back there. Like, that's not boo-hoos, what-ifs, excuses. Like, that's so. The 49ers played a playoff game that they lost on the road that I would expect them to win, favored in this game, because everybody thinks the 49ers are the most overwhelming team in football when they're healthy.
Chris Sims says when healthy, their best is better than everyone else's best. He also said that Mac Jones would be Brock Purdy if he played for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that's absurd.
I mean, Garoppolo can't play.
I love Sims. He's on our show. He's great to us, but that seems ridiculous.
Garoppolo can't play. He was a pass from winning a Super Bowl. Can't play quarterback.
I'm happy that we get this game in the 4 o'clock window. No late at night, no excuses. We're going to line that shit up. And you're going to find out that Brock Purdy isn't just some guy that's orchestrating the offense that's designed and putting up numbers. Dude's been making throws. If you squint.
Talk to me.
It looks like early day Tom Brady stuff. I'm not projecting him to be Tom Brady. But in terms of working within an offense, making pinpoint passes, throwing guys open,
I mean, geez.
They've built such a great team, and they got the hack, which is a guy that's putting up numbers and making winning plays at the most important position, making less than $1 million a year.
It looks like Trevor Siemian.
No. So you're saying he's pretty good.
Another thing that I said 7 months ago with Jeremy. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
saying until he wins a playoff game, Croc Purdy.
I am going to give you a stat here on the opposite end of this. Tim Boyle is starting another football game this week, and this is from Seth Walder. It's such a great stat. At UConn, Tim Boyle had a QBR for 3 years total of 15.8. Among all 251 quarterbacks in college football who had thrown 200 passes in the last 3 years, he ranks dead last.
Doesn't sit right with me.